just wanted to do a video about some old nostalgic stuff that I have, and it's funny. Like I always go back into my whole closet, my box of stuff. It just looks like a bunch of junk, but it's really just a lot of special things I always had from growing up back in the day. And I just wanted to kind of just let you guys check it out and see some of the old stuff. And you know what? It's really not just a bunch of junk. It's really a bunch of connections between about a lot of things in my life that I've had. So, I mean, just starting with Space Harrier and some Sega Master System games, and just always remember Space Harrier being the arcade was the game in the arcade. It was just awesome. The music and you know, getting inside this big machine and moved around, and the graphics and the music were just, it was really incredible. And you know, you could play that on your Master System. Here's an old Master System controller here that I play these games on. And moving on, they've got a cassette tape of some hip hop that, you know, this is kind of stuff I would listen to back in the day. I loved hip hop when I was growing up. And, you know, how often you see cassettes, you know, cassette tapes. It's so antiquated now. And then moving on here, Johnny Millennium mentioned in one of his recent videos talking about Macross, his 87 Macross memories, and boy, that was huge for me. Back then I used to, you know, we watched Robotech, and, you know, that was our style, that was anime and back in the day, that was our era, and I used to buy all the model kits for Macross, any ones I could find, anything I could find that was even related or even looked like Macross I used to buy. But I used to always buy Valkyrie models back in the day, and I love this. This is my Anime Expo badge from back in the day. Now, that's really a long time ago. I hate to admit it, but yeah, that was the first time I ever went to an animation convention, and it was really exciting. I even took a special trip. That was like my graduation present, and I got to go to a anime convention. It was really a lot of fun. Really good memory. Look at that. This is a ship from Silent Mobius, if anyone remembers that. And then that kind of linked me into just getting into Japanese animation and anime in general. This was me back in the day. You know, Area 88 was just really a classic, and just getting into all this stuff. This was probably one of my second favorite mangas. This was a manga. This is the first manga I ever really bought. You can see it's got a crease in it. But I was into that back in the day. Really good story. And of course, you know, the game that Capcom even made a game. The arcade game, of course, is based on Area 88. You kind of move along, and then I have my old, I used to, you know, I was getting really into import stuff and import magazines like this, and you know, I'd order them, or I'd go to specialty shops that sold them. And Hirohiko Mikimoto Illustrations. This was a really cool book. It was the character designer for Macross and the illustrator for Macross. It was really great. And of course, moving on, of course, seeing all this stuff and being all into Japanese animation, all this import stuff, made me want to learn Japanese, or at least attempt to learn Japanese. I took courses, and you know, back in the days, I took a few college courses and attempted to learn Japanese. And of course, moving on, the game I always wanted to talk about was Phantasy Star. Now, Phantasy Star was, the interesting thing about Phantasy Star is I was trying to get into role-playing games as a kid, and this was just the holy grail of them all. If you had this, you really didn't have to worry about, you know, getting friends together to play D&D and stuff like that, because you could just have your own kind of adventure just on your own, and it was really big. It made a big impact on me, and so can't say enough great things about Phantasy Star. Next, this is Dragon Warrior. I played this on my NES. I had an NES before I had a Master System, so I ended up playing Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest as it's called in Japan. And I remember the stories about this was like, this game was so big in Japan that, you know, kids were basically getting beat up on their way from school with their, you know, bullies taking their copies of Dragon Quest. Really big. But it's funny, I remember I played this, and I played this with the supplement here from back a long time ago, and I finished Dragon Quest just using this supplement, and I thought it was cool. You know, it was good. It was kind of like my first entry into role-playing games. But it's funny, I just always thought Phantasy Star was so much better. It was just such a better game to me. I mean, that's just the way that it was, but I still give props to Dragon Quest. And of course, I remember going to school, and these kids were bringing these books to school, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I wasn't a D&D fan yet, until I saw these kids bringing these books to school with, of course, Larry Elmore and Jeff Easley, their artwork, and that really made me a big fan of this game. And I used to play D&D every now and then in high school, and it was really big. I still love this game. I still love it. Moving on, just from that, and made me want to, from playing that, maybe I got into the Dragonlance books, which are really great. And of course, now they have like a throwback kind of red box set that looks like the old box set from back in the day. Really cool kind of thing to have. And just moving on, my old Sega Genesis, I just pulled out, and you know, it still works. It's still great. And so, just wanted to share some of this old stuff. People might remember from back in the day. So, I really enjoy just going back and just seeing this stuff now. It's kind of what made me, you know. So, really passionate about this stuff. I still love it. So, just want to share it with you guys.